Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya Sim, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So, I came across this video where JD Vance was talking. You all already know JD Vance is Trump's running mate. Like he is supposed to be the VP if Donald Trump wins, right? So you all know that he married an Indian woman, and now he is actually out there saying that white supremacists are attacking the white because he married an Indian woman. Now, let me tell you something. If these people really wanted to end what has been going on in black community or racism that has been affecting black people, this is something these people can fix in a twinkle of an eye. But this man is coming out to talk about white supremacists because it is affecting the white right now. The truth is that they do not believe in white supremacists, but how come he also believed that they are attacking the white? Now, I have been saying this all the time that these people really know what they are doing. And also, people in his own party are asking, why did he marry an Indian? Because they feel like, they were asking, how is he going to preserve their race if he married an Indian person? Not just only married the Indian person, that the woman's name, the kids all have Indian names. You all already know how they've been saying that they do not want their birth rates to drop or do not want to mix up because they also want to continue to keep the standard that they hold. But you know what? I am going to roll this video. Let me know what you're thinking in the comment section. So let's get into it.
So, you want to hear what a white supremacist sounds like trying to defend his marriage to a non-white person? JD Vance said he would go first because he recently attempted to defend his wife against white supremacists without calling them out. You can't make this up. Listen to it for yourself.
I love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person, and we've been attacked by some white supremacists over that. But I love Usha. She's such a good mom.
Allow me to translate that for you. What JD Vance is signaling to his white supremacist constituents is that USA is one of the good ones. Yeah, that's basically what he's trying to convince them of. Read it for yourself. He's not telling them that they're pieces of shit. He's defending his wife by really saying, yes, I understand she's not a white person, but she's one of the good ones. JD Vance's wife, USA, is the child of Indian immigrants. And you know, when the Indian Times criticizes your response to white supremacy as weird, it is definitely that. Democrats, these commercials are writing themselves. So you all remember the Klansman, the senator from Ohio here, JD Vance, who is Donald Trump's vice presidential running mate. And I got a question, because you all remember when he was talking about childless cat ladies? Hold on, let me play it for you.
Look, what I was basically saying is that we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it? I just wanted to ask that question and propose.
So, real quick, I guess people with stepchildren don't count, or that people that have surrogates have their children and they raise them don't count. But here's my question. JD, real quick. But do your comments include 69-year-old Lindsey Graham here? Because he's been in politics since at least 1993, and he's been in the United States Senate since 2003, and he has no wife and no biological children. What about 58-year-old Republican Senator Tim Scott here, who has also been in politics since at least 1995? Is he a childless cat lady also? Does Senator Tim Scott and Senator Lindsey Graham, do they fall into that category also? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend.
I think that the thing that we have to take away from the last 10 years is that we really need to be really ruthless when it comes to the exercise of power. I was talking about this with someone earlier today, where you remember there was some threat that congressional or Senate Republicans made. If you get rid of the filibuster, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. And you actually look at it, it's like, oh, this is not that interesting.
We're going to actually deliver on our promises that we've made for decades.
Right? Like,
Sounds
this is the threat. If you get rid of the filibuster, we're going to do this stuff. Like, they're talking about expanding the Supreme Court. They're talking about adding, 2 senators from heavily Democratic places.
You get rid of the filibuster, we'll actually deliver on defund.
We'll do what the base has been telling us that we don't want to do.
Yeah. So I think, look, I am a cynic about this and maybe even a little bit of a pessimist, but I think the challenge confronting American conservatives is that we have lost every major powerful institution in the country, except for maybe churches and religious institutions, which of course are weaker now than they've ever been. We have lost big business, we've lost finance, we've lost the culture, we've lost the academy. And if we're going to actually really affect real change in the country, it will require us completely replacing the existing ruling class with another ruling class. I say that knowing and hearing myself, it sounds really hard. It is really hard. But I don't think there's like a detent with these people. I don't think there's sort of a compromise that we're going to come with the people who currently actually control the country. Unless we overthrow them in some way, we're going to keep losing. And that's the challenge. Now, it's
So I actually think that the JD Vance thing backfired so spectacularly that they're probably figuring out who they should replace him with right now. And this is mostly due to the fact that saying something like this, it's not necessarily going to mobilize their voter base any more than it's already mobilized. Their base is already mostly of this opinion, so this is old news to them. What they have done, though, is piss off a bunch of people on the other side that are now way more mobilized to go out and vote just despite Trump. Especially when you put this all together with the fact that the birth rates have been dropping like crazy over the past few years. You just gave Kamala Harris a huge new base of voters that are going to vote for her out of spite that JD Vance said that. I actually think that if anything, Trump is going to try to distance himself from JD Vance entirely, because once you add, the couch fucking thing into it, the childless women thing into it, it's too much to sort of contend against. It reminds me of that scene in Pineapple Express where Ted goes off on the competition.
Stop it, okay? Stop it, or you're asking for war. Do you want a war? Fuck your mama. All right, you listen to me, chum, you motherfucker. It is on. We're coming at you with everything we got. It's on, so you better get your head out of your ass and be ready for everything. You are fucking dead.
You're so dumb. Do you have any idea how weak you just made us look?
God damn it! It's Saki. Ted Jones. Torai. We should strike now. With full force. Your brother's death will not be in vain.
And it's basically like that. They would have stood a chance if he didn't say that stupid shit, but because he said it, now it's just a whole different landscape. Like, he changed, it's like a butterfly flapped its wings, and now we live in a whole different world. Like, literally. Had he not said that, we might be trying to convince women without children to swing their vote one way or the other. But at this point, there's one side that they're definitely not voting for. And they're also no longer indifferent towards that side, and they're no longer indifferent towards Kamala. The other really shitty part of it is that he went with the term childless women. That was a stupid, stupid mistake, because childless means you don't have children because you can't. It means you want to have children, but you can't. Child-free, on the other hand, means that you have chosen to live your life without children, which is very different. So if he really wanted it to be the burn that it was, he would have said child-free women. But he said childless, which is a whole different demographic of women, and it's very insensitive, and it's actually a very stupid thing to say, because there's plenty of conservative childless women that are now being told that their vote shouldn't matter, just because they were for some reason biologically unable to have children. Yikes, really bad move all around. The numbers really speak for themselves, and especially with how close that last election was, I just know that there's trouble. There's trouble behind closed doors at the Trump campaign headquarters right now. They cannot be happy about this. Frankly, there's a lot of young women that don't plan on having children. And you not only have alienated them now from your base, but you have also mobilized them against you. And these kind of missteps in politics can really skew the whole race. And I just don't see a scenario in which Trump sticks with JD Vance and still wins. So he's shot himself in the foot either way. And basically, it's just backfired spectacularly. I mean, now Beyonce has cleared a track for their ad campaign. I mean, wait till Taylor Swift hears about this. I know she's on tour right now, but her fan base has already mobilized and is promoting voter registration at her shows right now, because saying this is the same exact thing as coming for Taylor Swift. And you know her fans are not going to have that. And Trump has actually very specifically mentioned that he really likes Taylor Swift and that he thinks she's like one of the most beautiful women in the world. I'm sure I actually think that Trump wants to see a world in which he can court Taylor Swift's vote and support, and I think this just threw a huge wrench into that plan that he's never going to get back. I would kill to be a fly on the wall in those strategy rooms right now, because I just know that JD Vance is getting his ass handed back to him right now. I know that these comments weren't even made in light of the election, which is crazy, but like, they really should have done their research and they should have known what's going to backfire or not. He was announced as VP while Biden was still running. So that's a whole different story than Kamala running with a white man as VP. So I think he's going to try to flip the script, and I think he's going to get rid of JD Vance, and I think he's going to try to put a woman, maybe even a woman of color, as his vice president instead. He backed out of that debate because, yeah, that was easy to debate like a man who is older and sicker than you. But debating a woman that's like 30 years your junior and raised more money than any presidential candidate in history, yeah, that's a whole different story. So I think they really fucked up on the woman side of things. They feel like they kicked a hornet's nest, because this has served to mobilize way more people on the Democrat side than is going to mobilize people on the conservative side. Even Pearl Davis falls into this category. She is single and childless. So they definitely used the wrong word. Like, women who have chosen not to have children, you should have never said childless. Childless means you want a child, but you haven't been able to have one, which is like, you're really just pouring salt in the wound for some women. And so I think by not making that distinction, they fuck themselves over even further. This has been a real disaster for them, and I think that we're probably going to see some big changes in the Trump campaign here within the next few months, which is going to also look really bad for them. So I don't know. I actually think this was the perfect way to mobilize a bunch of people that otherwise wouldn't have come out to vote for Kamala. Now they're definitely going to come out and vote for her. I think it's also really funny that they went there in the first place, because technically all men are childless. Like, they've never given birth and nobody ever cared. I think it's funny too, like, anything that they're going to basically try to shame her with is going to backfire bigly, okay? Because it's already the fact that they're trying to slut shame her while they're voting for a man who literally cheated on his pregnant wife with a corn star and then used campaign money to pay her off. They're just like attacking in the wrong direction, so to speak. Like, they don't understand how badly this is backfiring and how weak it's actually making them look. There are so many things they could actually say in order to influence people's opinions of Kamala Harris that would actually be effective, but they've chosen the childless woman route, the slut shaming route, and the socialism route, which is not going to work out in the way that they think it's going to work out. If anything, I really just see the Trump campaign kind of freaking out and getting rid of JD Vance, especially because he hasn't been able to grift those donations from Elon Musk and all those people, as I'm sure he promised. He's useless to them at this point. He's a never Trump guy. He's known on the internet right now for being a couch fucker. And if anything, once people found out that he is not married to a white woman, they came after him for that too. So he's really not hitting any of the marks that he needs to be hitting right now. As of like this morning, Kamala Harris's approval rating has skyrocketed basically. So I know that they are in there discussing strategies right now, and I'm pretty sure none of them involve JD Vance. That's my little think piece on that. Thanks for listening.
So this is all I got from this video. I am going to start with who child shames somebody, because it's really amazing how people come out and probably use somebody's weak point, or not just weak point, probably as a woman, you probably do not have one leg, or as just a human, you probably do not have one leg, and somebody is trying to politically use that against you to make sure that you do not soar higher. Like, how would somebody say because she is like she doesn't have a child? Is she the only one that doesn't have a child, or is it because she's coming up for presidential? Like, she's now she's coming out to become the president, right? I mean, there are some things people could mess around with, but not using having a child as an excuse to bring somebody down, because that doesn't really make any sense. And there are so many other people, not having a child does not mean that the person is completely barren, or she probably maybe it might be medical condition, or she probably doesn't want to have children, or she has stepchildren. Like, I think it's a lame for people to probably use people's choices. Maybe it is her choice, not wanting to have children, and somebody is like, out there trying to use it or trying to say that, how can somebody be childless? And how is she supposed to be a good president? Or how, okay, like, it's just like saying, how are you going to be a good person or a good leader if you do not have a child? I mean, do we really need a physical, like, to have a child personally to be a good person? You might not have a child, but you have other children that you are you are a mother figure to. So I think that is baseless. It doesn't really make any sense. And let's get back to where he said that white supremacists are attacking the wife. Now, but they really do not believe that there is something like white supremacy. So how come the thing they do not believe in is right now affecting them? Is he talking out because it is affecting the wife, or is it talking out in general? Like, there is white supremacy and it's also affecting other people, right? Now, let me tell you this. The truth is that all these people really do know what they are doing. And the fact that what has been, let me use Black community as an instance, what has been going on in Black community. If these people decided that there won't be anything like racism, or Black people are going to have better lives or better job, or they are going to put first, this is something that they could do, like in a twinkle of an eye, like, talk about it and probably campaign against it or protest against it, or say this has been like this for years and we do not want it to continue being like this. We need change, right? This is something they can do in a twinkle of an eye. But I just found that that is something they also do not want to do, right? Because if they wanted to do it, absolutely, it takes them nothing to come over and get something done. But now you all can see, because it is affecting JD Vance directly, now it is not affecting his wife. Like, people also coming out, because I hear them, some of the political people, his political opponents, or his also people in the same party with him, coming out to say, how is this man going to preserve white race? Like, white race, if he married a brown woman, an Indian woman, right? And not just marrying the woman also, her kids are also, they all have Indian names. Like, how is it going to help their own community, like white community, to build up their own race and also maintain power? Because they are also eager on that, or not just eager, they are so much into maintaining power, because that power is something that I personally know that they do not want to lose. Because you all already know how each time something happens, they tell you that how do you want to make us minority? Like, oh, why are you treating me like a black or brown person? Why are you treating me like a minority? That also tells you that they are absolutely aware that there is how a minority or someone, okay, let me not use, like, there is how a black or a brown person is being treated in the United States of America, right? So I really hope this is clear. But man, you all already can see what is going on or what has been happening when it comes to politics. But I am saying we already have to be very careful to know who we are bringing into power, in order not to make mistake. And at the end, Black people will be complaining. Because if there is something that I'm so much after, is after Black community, and that is something I do not ever want to joke with it. That's all I have to say. Let me see what you thank you so much, and see you all in my next video. Let me know what you all have got to say in the comment section. Bye for now.